No, apparently my microphone was on and not off. That's a good oversight. Oh, there's plenty of audio. I think it's working fine. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming in today. My name is Alexio, and we are going to continue our venture down to building a React Native app. Now, let me just confirm that the chat today is working, because just a minute ago, I couldn't see most of the chat, and now I can see it on my phone. So I don't know if it is like a feature, or if it's a bug on YouTube, or something on my side. So let me see comments. Hello, everyone. Let's see. Did I miss something? Kev, Alex, you're saying, what is this music? It's the generic elevator music. Yeah. Apparently my makeshift curtains just dropped, so that was the sound. Just give me a minute. When I thought everything was alright, something is crashing, literally. Yeah, this elevator music comes with YouTube, I believe. If you go to the free music there, I can give you the specific name of the file afterwards. I have no idea what that is. It's been a while. Let me see. Yep, the live is working fine. So let me just mute and take it out of here and move on to desktop. Hello, everyone. I know it's a bit bright, but that's because, well, my makeshift curtain kind of dropped. And let's not put that back in again. So, plenty of people on the stream. Hello, all of you. Let's just continue. Actually, no, let's not continue. Let's do a quick thing, which is to see what was the voted team. Oh, God. Why am I logged out? Well, I can do this. I think I can just do that. No, dev. And that was not what I was expecting, Alex. Recognize it from somewhere. It feels like Team Hospital. I think it's like a generic kind of tune that is free to distribute and quite. I mean, it's good, you know, right? Just on those kind of in between moments. Let's see, Nordev. Community. I need to go to my Twitter. Norfolk Dev. Okay. Norfolk Dev. There we go. Force of habit. Chat now is working perfectly. So, you guys voted for Teal-Cyan. Okay, interesting. And we are going to see other things as well. Other things more interesting. So, bit of green with blue. That's fine. We can work with that. Now, we are going to jump into one of the React Native caveats. First, let me just combine my coffee with more coffee. Today was release day, and I was up until late just making sure everything was alright. Therefore, this is the only way that I can survive throughout the day with unhealthy amounts of caffeine. So, there's a caveat with this, which is there are two similar settings to do a theme on React Native. Let me show you. First of which would be where you least expect it, which is on React Navigation. So React Navigation, just to recap a bit, Navigation 5, because we don't want the other versions, is the way that React Native does the navigation stack. And it's quite important because there's plenty of ways to do this, such as the bottom navigation bars, like we are going to start in a couple of seconds. And they also add other intrinsic properties, such as, let's see what that is, read the docs, and now where is, can I search on this? There we go, it's Control K, Team. So there's this property object. Hello there. There's this new this property they call Team, by which you can define your properties, and by default, it will apply automatically to a lot of your UI elements, which is fine. And then that's exactly what we want, because we can just say to the outmost components, here's a theme, here's your styles, and basically instead of me going for every single piece of like text or cards or backgrounds, it will apply automatically. Now that's perfect because we can just define our theme here and it just applied automatically. There are ways to do between like this, like going from the dark theme to the light theme, although I don't think we're going to explore that much right now. And there's now another interesting approach, which is there's our chosen UI library called React Native Paper, which is one of the dependencies for the bottom navigation bar. And light theme today, well, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I would prefer to put it on dark mode, but as far as I've seen on streams, it's quite hard to read, like small text. So I try to keep doing the light modes, and especially now it's still day. It's quite easy to. I mean, it's kind of on brand, right? I mean, you have the light just flooding the room here. But one of the things, curious things about this is that this also implements a theme, which is basically the same structure and the same object, but by React Native Paper. Now, there are advantages of using one on the other, especially in terms of if I use the one on React Native Paper or React Native Paper. This one will apply immediately to all our objects in React Native Paper, such as text or avatars, list items, and whatnot. Those are just fine, but it will not apply to the navigation parts, the status bar. Hey, I don't know what's going on, Ron, because I just joined live, so you can please also talk about the React Native image picker. Huh, that's interesting. And I don't think I've used the image picker, but I'll probably take a look at it just in a minute. So right now we are just using the votes to choose one team, and I was going just to explain here on chat that I'm just going to explain that we have basically two solutions, one on the UI side and the other on the navigation side. Now, there are ways to combine this, and I'm just saying this just to explain more than actually choosing, because I can just basically take one and implement the others by hand. That's not a problem. But it's just so you guys can see that, unfortunately, on the React Native side of things, sometimes there are these types of caveats that you kind of need to choose between one of two evils. Now, there's a project and there's a library that actually combines both themes and basically spits out a single object that you need just to do like a sort of redirection. But as far as I've seen, like just a couple of days ago, they are doing React Native Paper in a way that they can combine it in the future. So right now, we are going to use actually the React Native Paper one instead of React Navigation, just because in terms of UI, it will simplify our lives. And basically the navigation will just adjust colors by hand, which hopefully will not be that difficult. We'll see. So let's do the most tedious part, not this one, but where is it? There we go, Studio. And just warm up everything. And now is the time that Alex might be worried, just because my laptop will drop just a few frames while he's trying to actually spin up through the emulator. npm run Android. And we are actually on a project, so it's fine. It should drop just a bit of the frames, but it should be fine in a couple of seconds. And now npm start, just to start our React Native project. Should see the healthy, yep, Metro logo here. Right, and let's see, this one close. Did I write any ish? Why did I have this one open? Let me see. The problem, oh right, this was the problem that we faced on last stream, trying to run a device on an actual device. Our project basically didn't want to run on my phone, so we had to kind of force it to do it. Didn't I put some issues? I could have sworn, no, I thought about it, but I didn't do it. Watch, let me see, just before I read the chat. Oh, still bundling, so let me see what's going on chat. There's a major version for NPM available. Could have sworn I had this version. It might be by session and not by globe. No, it's installed globally. That's weird. Let me see here on chat. Let me try to pronounce your name correctly. Nishant? Nishant. I believe that's the way to pronounce it. Apologies if that's not the way. What do you use for selecting images from gallery? Hope I'm not disturbing you in between. No, not really. Especially now that we need to, unfortunately, wait a bit. Where is the emulator? Is it here? No. Said it started the app successfully. I mean, I'm not imagining things, but I don't have any emulator here. Okay. Let's try it again. So, selecting images from galleries. Okay. There are ways to do this, but the better ones might be actual custom ones. So the problem is that Android has certain mechanisms to get files, images on any sort of medium, but most of the times it will revert to the native. So no, this is my oh, that's a problem. So we saw one of the problems right now, which is I had my tablet connected to my device. Therefore, it was going to try to compile into the tablet and was saying, no, I've done this correctly. No problem at all. So getting back on your, there we go. Getting back on your question, and this should be fine because the emulator is nice and ready here. Doesn't need to compile it like from scratch. There are plenty of ways to do this, just because Android can implement Here we go. So apparently, while compiling, there's a nice property on Ubuntu that will just drop the microphone. Thank God for the chat. And I have no idea why he's doing that. Yeah, that's a weird side effect, isn't it? Well, this one is also down. Well. So, getting back to what I was going to say, I would prefer, or at least on React Native, I would use a library for doing this because the manual process might be too much. Most of the times, Android has its own thing and iOS has its own thing, and people probably had this problem before. Therefore, you just need to do something like the React Native gallery. Now, depends on what you want, obviously, because you might want a gallery, you might want just sliding image, which you can do it like differently with different elements in this. I think I've used this one because I kind of recognize this girl here. I think I've used this one. But the idea would be you'd provide a list of images, but you want probably something to trigger. I think I need just a stream just to do that, because it kind of depends on a lot of factors. Mostly would be if you add the image locally, if you want to get that intent to get the actual gallery of the system, which might be or not the default one of the operating system, to show up, and then you can select it, and then the return of that call, which will be a different app, you need to take it in and basically sort it out. I need to do something like Instagram. Actually, as not promoting my channel a bit, which is a bit dead right now, I did what I called OnlyFans, but for pictures of desktops. So I would add an app, I would build an app sort of close to Instagram, and you have the gallery, and basically from the back end we get a bunch of pictures and align them together almost like Instagram. That way you kind of don't need the gallery of the system per se, you just need this, and this will just show either like this, like as a slideshow, but there are other ways to implement other types, such as you have the grids, you have probably like almost like a list item that is not just a list ordered, but actually like I'm just thinking that Android kind of supports different sizes, like Google Notes. It kind of gets the grid like that. Yeah, let me put the pin on that idea, because I could be spending hours here and showing different approaches. Basically, it can be done. I would advise to go with the actual built-in library rather than you actually do it by hand. Otherwise, it might take a while. Just for time's sake, I mean, if you want to do that, just by any means, don't just take my word, just go for it. But it might take a while. It might be problemsome. And then if you want to do not just on Android or not just on iOS, you need to do it also for the other system and actually implement it on the native side of things, which might not be what you want. Right, so we left here with the most simple of implementations. We saw how to actually do the bottom navigation, which has two components, one for the goals and one for the profile. Profile still has the default view here. It's completely fine. Goals, I wanted to implement a list. As you can see, it kind of scrolls nicely. Still here on the emulator. You guys, if you have like a stream on 60 frames, you probably can see it smoothly scrolling on your screen. And the idea now would be that before we even go into the logic, we're just going to apply the theme, which should be those kind of jobs that once it's done, we just leave it. It should be nice and steady for the whole project. So how to do that? First, we'll go to our roots component here, or the root object. I have no idea what this is called in React Native. For me, it's always like the main file. Actually, the main file should be this one, which is called this one, but you know, the main React native object. And now we need to say, right, we need to wrap the whole render here into that theme. So we decided to go, or I decided to go for you guys, with the React native paper approach. So what do I need? What are the ingredients for this cake? I need to wrap everything on a paper provider. Yep, support custom themes. Paper exports a provider component. You need to wrap your root component with the provider to be able to support themes. Fair enough. So let me just copy this. You know, the usual thing that programmers will do all day, just copying, pasting everything from Stack Overflow / documentation. Now, does it need to be outside or inside this navigation container? I believe I can put it outside. And if I had any problems, I'll just copy it. And hopefully, this project has the prettier nicely implemented, because on one of my projects, it kind of basically, that's weird. I think I have React Native Paper installed, but okay. Basically, one of my projects has the prettier kinda screwed up. If I save it and it auto formats, it'll add me like semicolons like 5 or 6, which is like I have no idea what the hell is going on behind. But apparently that's a known bug. Right, before even copy the theme, I need to figure out why is my React Native paper not working, which I believe I've installed it, but just in case, yeah. It's here. So it might be that this automatically installs an old version. So let me confirm that. Here it is, exact match. So this one is 472 and we have the 472. Quite weird. Okay, let's try a different approach. Let's try to say, copy this thing. Oh, right, this might be it. Is this? No, might be done. Let's see. No, it's recognized. Okay, because it was a different name. Basically, didn't know. Hello, Chris. Hope you're doing all right. Well, to be honest, you didn't miss most things. I'm just basically, I'm just right now starting to implement the theme that was voted on Twitter. We had a nice little rant on how React Native sometimes makes our lives a bit harder by presenting us with 2 different implementations of the same thing. And Mark's saying, what is the plan for this group of episodes? What are we building? We are building a goal app, which is kind of ironic because that's the goal of the project. Basically, the idea would be, instead of doing a to-do list, we are going to build a list, but actually to keep up with the goals that we normally do by the New Year's Eve. And actually with an annoying app on our pockets that actually remind us to do things. Right, we also need the default theme. Basically, this will just inherit previous colors and just apply it to this nice little object, which we're going to either abstract it to a constant kind of file, or at least you can leave it here, because to be honest, we are not going to use this more than actually this part. Probably. I might be thinking wrong. I might be wrong here, just because colors and everything. We'll see it. We'll see in a minute. It should be like this, right? Yep. You'll recall this correctly. Now, if we save it, we shouldn't see any difference. Primarily because right now, these 2 colors, not that it matches here, but actually there's a problem. Which is, now that we've chosen our allegiance, right, which is with the UI elements, the bottom navigation bar, its property, basically it kind of goes into the jurisdiction of the navigation. Therefore, we need to come to the, where is this one? It's the tab navigation, which is called what? Navigation, there we go. For the navigation container now, we need to do some sort of tweaks to it. No, actually it should be here. Right, you see, styles. Yep. So is it the container? One of these will be. There's theme, but if I try to do this, I don't think it'll work, because those objects are different. But yeah, actually it interprets as the same properties. Okay, let me try to do one thing then. Let me try, where was the property? Roundness, colors, fonts. Fonts is quite nice to apply it globally instead of actually going to every single file. Oh, there we go. This was the property. So this one allows me to keep your own properties in the theme. It's fully by our library. Is it me, or this kind of sounds a bit weird? Keeping your own properties in the theme is fully supported by a library. Okay, basically, yep. Just, you know, my brain after not getting that much sleep. Basically, you can put custom properties here, which could be good. I never tried, but let's. Why not? I mean, it's live. Everyone is seeing and judging. What could go wrong? This way we can just add custom properties that we can inherit from this team. But apparently, this is working better than I expected. Normally streams will go sideways, not actually like this. Let me just confirm one thing. There we go. And actually, it's changing the font color automatically. That's interesting. So if I say, how was it, yellow? I think it was like, nope, this. There we go. It automatically changed to black. Neat. I didn't know this does that automatically. Not only you guys learned something today, I also learned something today. Now, we have our team here. Let's try to implement voting colors. So this was the cyan, right? Teal cyan. And where is the app? Where is the app? Tomorrow. Where's this guy? I could have sworn that one of these had the actual one of these had the actual link. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Material palettes. This is a good way to actually getting some decent colors while you're not really the most proficient people in terms of design, which is my case. So the voted colors again, which I kind of forgot was this one, and number 3, which is doesn't say, but it'll say here. Teal, cyan. Teal and cyan. Teal and cyan. Quite close. Normally what people would do, it's more of a radical approach. I'll use these colors, but just to demonstrate would be, how's it called? I think it's analogous, but it's like a color that really will do a big contrast between the primary and the secondary colors. So even something probably like, not bad. Like, was trying to get like a more shocking kind of, like this kind of works fine, and it's quite different in the sense that it kind of distinguishes between those two, but no matter. It was cyan teal or teal cyan. Oh, cyan, damn it. I will try not to fall asleep during the stream. No, it was teal cyan. So first of all would be teal and then cyan. There we go. And now to come here, and we can see there are a lot of colors which we can use. Now, we are going to do things the manual way, and then we'll just do a nice kind of tidy up of things. We'll just move all the colors then to its own file. So right now, I want to say, I could just put my window here and take this one here, and put it side by side so we can work a bit better right now. So we are going to need what? We are going to need, oh, there's a dark primary color. I didn't even know there was a dark and a light. Okay. Let's first take care of the other ones, and I'll just come back to this one just in a second. So this one, accent. Copy here, and let's say that we just want first of all this one, and we also want text. Yeah, I mean, you guys had 1 week to vote. But as you can see, in the future, we might have a sort of an option that we can just say the colors and the app could change that. We can do that if that's something that you guys want. Because at the end of the day, the app should do what we want, not the opposite. Therefore, I don't want you guys to feel like these add the colors that they should have. So there's plenty of things here I wasn't expecting. I was expecting this to be more like, oh, there's the colors for, say, elevations and whatnot. But apparently, it says text slash icons, although this icon is clearly like of a secondary text color, which is interesting. So let's do something in the lines of, let's say, icons. Okay, we could just work with that. Now, actually, icons should be probably this accent color, because it will make it a bit easier. Oh, I see. Secondary text might be like this one. Okay. We can actually copy this and say secondary text. And obviously it needs to be wrapped. Obviously it needs to be wrapped. Just wrap everything like this. And it will not crash, hopefully. It is not crashing, which is always a good sign. Now we want just to see. We just want to see if the accent color works fine. So we can implement something like this. There's a nice little, oops, not the correct window again, on the correct desktop. We want to implement, not React navigation, we could close this and this one, where it's called, it's floating action button, or FAV as short. As you can see, there's two implementations. The traditional one that you used to on the bottom right, you have just like this nice little floating button. And you can also add text to it. Recently I had to implement something like this with Google Maps. Basically on a map you just press, will create the marker, and then you'll just show the button just confirming that the user wants that position. So let's add this just to see how does that look. We are going to actually need to reorganize our windows here. Here might be nice. Here. And to put this back here. There we go. And actually I can just do slim down a bit. And try not to glue it. Come on. That's a bit. There we go. I mean, I love Ubuntu, but sometimes try oh, those two colors. Okay, right now, I mean, it was voted this color. Sorry. I mean, for now, we'll just stick with these two colors. And if we need to, just adjust. In the future, if you guys voted, we'll change it. I mean, fine by me, as long as that's not something that horrifies every designer in the world. For me, it's fine. The floating action button. So this will be on our new components called goals. It'll be on the screen, because screen is where we have all the UI stuff. And it should be probably here. Just, it might sound that it goes below the list, but floating action button actually floats. Therefore, it doesn't really matter where you put it, because this will define where it actually will go. So, where is it? Just put it here. Why don't you auto format? There we go. Now it's complaining, can't find it. Now it's imported. And now I'll complain that can't find style. Yep. No problem at all. One fire at a time. Do I have a styles on this? No, we don't have any sort of styles. Let me copy the whole thing. And place the style here. And obviously you also need to import this one. And now we have the floating action button. Now, is this the color that we want? Absolutely not. Or was it? No, actually it is. It's because this is the cyan, this is the teal. So this is how it will look. Now, we want to remove this property, which is the equivalent of just saying, you know, but this way it's way better, right? But if you remove small, we'll just have the regular size. There we go. And actually, we can just keep this one, because we can implement a sort of, if you want to add a new list item, we can just do a click, and it'll show here. And by the looks of it, since we want just to have a sort of name, I mean, it's goals. So I will assume that the way that I'm going to draw, or at least try to render these items, would be in the sense of as a few data as I can put it. So it will never fill up the whole row. And since most of the data is on the left, on the right will never be obstructed by any sort of data, which is perfect. Right. So all of this for the teams. And I don't know, I mean, we are just halfway in just to do one simple implementation. Let's just move on right now. Actually, let me do one thing quick. Did we add all the colors that we need? Actually, let me take a look. Before we commit, just finish this job first. Was this one? Was this one? Going to app. There's a secondary text color. Yep. There's the divide color. I mean, you can copy this for now and remove the at if we don't use it for any sort of reason. Divider. Divider. Don't need to put color because it's kind of obvious. And actually, don't need those. Cardinal or Yash. Primary texts. Okay, yep, that's the one. No, text color is the one that I don't get it. Why pure white? Oh, right, because of the IC. This should be for the primary color. So it would be text on primary color. I mean, do we need all of this? It's here. If we need to just access, it will be right here, just waiting for us. And this one could be light primary. Since we have this custom property, we can just put just whatever we want here. Now, I do need to see how to implement the theme as a color palette. Because normally what I would do is just provide the theme with colors and use the colors individually, but we can actually use the theme as a palette color instead of actually having an object that is a palette color, which might make our lives a bit easier if just we have just one object lying around and as everything as the single source of truth for colors. And it sounds a bit weird, right? Single source of truth for colors. Dark primary, okay. Right. There we go. We have plenty to work on right now. So, even before we do this, let me do this the proper way. Let's just do a first issue, which will be implement theme. Now, how do I normally do issues? When it is an issue, normally it would be like goals. Put it obviously with, I can do this by hand. It'll be like goal, and it'll be black. Yep. And then we'll have a sort of things that we need to accomplish to finish this. So it'll be not goal, but goals. So it'll be implement theme. Oh, automatically adds a new item. Nice. Add material, voted material colors. And move it to its own style. I think that's plenty of things to do in one issue. And we actually have done this too. Oh, we need to implement this one. Now, this is issue number 2. Kind of begs the question on what was number 1. I don't recall doing anything. One closed. And add navigation. Okay, perfect. Who shall I assign to this, right? There's plenty of things here. This enhancement, there's no project milestone. Perfect. This is issue number 2. And now if I go here, we can close this window now. Put this one here again and say start. And probably we can do this because, yep, sometimes if you have something here that basically was saved, you'll say, you need to stash that before you do that. Fortunately enough, we are now working, and let me just push this branch. Here we go. There's 3 changes. There's the team. Confirm. There's the team. Paper provider. And then there's the floating action button, which we kinda can omit for now, because this one doesn't make part of the same issue. So this one will just not do here. I don't know how you guys normally write your commits. The way that I recently, I wouldn't say recently, it was but like last 2 years, learned was that you put the number, you put hash, number of the issue, so you can reference it on GitHub or GitLab. And basically, you try to write this not in the past sense, but in the present, which kind of sounds weird at first, but it will be something like implement rather than implement team implemented. This kind of makes sense, although it's still a bit weird. I mean, if I was to justify why am I doing this way, I'll have like a really hard time just not disagreeing with people that might say, well, this doesn't sound right. Why didn't you commit yet? Okay, that makes sense though. That actually makes sense. Because I used to do like implemented, as in things were implemented on this issue. As you can see now, if you close it, we have the nice reference to the issue here, and we have the actual implemented changes here. We will show in a minute. Perfect. And let's try to not pollute this too much with different issues. Right, so just to move a bit quicker now that I've done all the explanation, let's do a thing called, I don't know, not a component, so it'll be outside. Let's call this one constant, I guess. Naming things is always the problem, isn't it? Oh, and there's a nice icon, so this kind of reference in the sense that it kind of knows what constants are. Let's call this a constant.ts, because this will not be an actual React Native component. Let's see, I can just do this, and say export. Really need to have a boat faced. I have no idea what that reference is. You might need to explain to me what the hell that means. So this will be here. So defaults. This one. Let me save this. And it will be settings. And here I can just remove all this noise dependencies. And here. And actually, I did remove too many dependencies. Copy this and go back one bit. So this one needs to be removed. This one will be here. This one I'm not using. Also, this one is not being used. That's about. That about kind of moves everything to the other cities, other places. I have regrets asking Twitter to decide on the team. Cyan is giving me the Windows 95 flash kind of. I mean, to be honest, we can do this more of a retro kind of 95 vibe if we would opt for icons that would be a bit more retro, or kind of like, you know, a bit of the Windows kind of file here. That will get those vibes going on. Import, Chris, you're asking for what's that doing? Or is that like an actual team inside of the... Oh, actually you are naming the... Well, we can name this whatever we want, I guess. But right now, It's perfect. We have all the colors here. Now, to make things more pretty, we can do this in different ways. So it'd be like colors, constant colors. And here we can define a lot of colors, such as primary. Primary would be what? It would be this one. I mean, actually, why am I having all this trouble when I can do this? And here we can find colors, and if we need for any sort of reason to access that color, I mean, yeah, do we need to do this? Actually, we don't, because the colors will be accessed through the team, and we don't have any sort of advantage of actually declaring the here and defining here, and this one will not be exported, therefore we don't need to define our colors outside. The paper company in the office. Oh, that's quite nice. I'm ashamed to say that I know more reference of The Office than actually I saw the episodes. I do plan to see it, but that's one of the series that I have on the back catalog to see that I haven't got it yet. Although I do fear that once I start seeing, I'm kind of like having some PTSD kind of vibes. Like, why am I seeing this to relax when this series is giving me anxieties? Okay, so I mean here, but that's fine. This is a different issue. So color is here, color is fine, color is abstracted away, and now we can implement or get that color anywhere that we want. And this size does come from a default value, but I've defined this by hand. Something to see in the future. Not to be too much concerned now. Right. Perfect. It's clean. It's exactly what I want. This one here, and this one will go here. And now we have our main render components. Cleaner. While still keeping the same functionalities. So, number is it 2? It is. And it'll be add theme to own. Wow. Yeah. 2 constants. With an S. Yep. Okay. This is a different issue altogether, so it's fine. Now, this is something that I meant to search, but I didn't, basically. The problem is that now, normally what I would do is, right, I've done every single thing that I wanted. I can merge things. Now, if I do the correct, or at least what I assume would be correct, would be pull request, and then it comes here and says this one was recent, but that's exactly what I want. And we'll just always be for develop, but it always insists on main for some reason. Here, I'm going to reference the actual issue, because it will be easier to search for if we need to. So therefore, if I just put the name of the issue, it'll make our lives a bit easier. We don't need any of this. And, we just see it, and we are our own viewer, so everything fine. I mean, these 2 friends, it's part of this. Paper, obviously. And it changed just these 2, but well, I'm finding the actual exporting file, which is fine. Everything seems all right. Merge. Yep. Now, here's my kind of question that I never got to search for it. Now it's merged, it's fine. Although we could just say, well, this one is linked to this one. But this never happened before. If I just close this merge, it will never actually close the issue. Now I can close the issue. But if I try to do it, like, if I do finish, Yeah, man, because this file here, I know. So let me do a stash. Be without name. That's fine. So now if I do finish, actually I have no idea what he's doing on the backend. But basically now I have 3 things to commit. And I even can do finish even before I do the merge. But this whole process kind of says that either I'm doing some things that are unnecessary or I'm missing some steps here. So that's something I need to search for in the future. I think you need to say close to in the commit. Really? Okay, that kind of explains things. Yeah, not only when it gets to your main branch. Okay. That will explain why this one never closes. Right, so even if I push that to conclude this rant, basically it doesn't change anything here. So I would assume that basically it does the same thing as I'm doing here with the pull request. I have no idea. Right, getting back here, we need to do an issue, and right now would be to actually, we are going to do what? Right now we're going to do the next step in terms of features. Like, if the first feature is to have an app running with just default components and default text and dummy, whatever it is that in terms of data, that the next step would be to actually have some sort of logic to it. So we are going now to implement a sort of, well, I mean, this one is just crashing just because of the whole, oh, sometimes this will happen. I have no, I think it's just my Ubuntu version, but basically the console is here. There's things to it, but it shows me as like invisible. So the solution for this problem that I found out is that commands still work. So I just clear the console, exit, and it will clear all the console instances, and basically it comes back. I couldn't even get a correct search on Google for this one, so I have no idea how to fix this, besides getting a new laptop. Which is time. I mean, my laptop is like, what, 7 years now? And it's still fine, but I don't feel like spending. Well, how much is a new MacBook? Does it compile iOS? That's the most important thing. I would prefer, unfortunately, I would prefer the Dell XPS, but my kind of job kind of says that, well, you might want a Mac kind of device just to compile on iOS. And therefore, the next successor to my laptop will be, ThinkPad will be a good solution, especially the new ones. But the problem is that I do need to compile iOS. And therefore, I think the choice was made for me without me actually deciding, unfortunately. Do you prefer ThinkPads? I do find like the Dell XPS, like the 13-inch is quite nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't get that new juicy kind of performance of the new MacBooks. I mean, just having like 18 hours of battery is just a dream. M1 are still in Spain so far for a MacBook Air. Yep. The new MacBook Air, the difference from the MacBook Pro is that the Air doesn't have a fan, which kind of worries me a bit, to be honest. I mean, it does a bit of throttling, but I don't know. I'm always like thinking, oh god, something without the fan is kind of doomed to either just, you know, catching fire, or I don't know. I'm always fearful of those kind of things. Oh damn, 12 hours of battery, that's quite a lot. If I just unplug it from the wall, it'll be like 1 hour. But this was never meant to be a sort of everlasting laptop. Okay, now we're running this again. Let me just confirm that. Yep, we're running. Oh, that's quite nice. I mean, do you compile, or is it like web kind of pre-compile kind of thing that doesn't really like go to the process of actually having like the single core kind of just usage? Because that's the main concern that I have, is that everything Android will be like, bottleneck will be single core performance, like pure raw single core Oh, damn, that's quite nice. Oh, that's quite good. 12 hours of battery, that's like a dream. My dream is just having like a laptop, a USB cable, and that's it. I have the same thing for my phone, and I will just need a power outlet in the end of the day. That would be the dream. But right now, we are all at home, so we don't need to be too much concerned about that. Or at least it's not the biggest priority. I used to work in a place that had an old MacBook Pro, and the slimmer ones. And basically, let's say that that machine could not keep up with compiling at all. It was too old for that. So this one would be, this issue would be actually implement the, like formulating what I want to do at the same time I'm writing. Implement the add component. You feel that this is sounding like a bit weird, that's because I also feel the same thing. It's kind of like, I have a better word for this one. Basically, what it's going to do, this one is going to show a form to add a goal. Okay, for this, navigate to the goal component. That's better. Show form to add a goal. Return data. That's plenty to do. I mean, it's just 3 goals, but that's quite small steps. There are plenty of small steps to do in between. This will be our issue number 4. So let's do that. Feature start number 4, and we add a stash. Very important. Stash. Apply stash. There we go. We implemented the button, which will be useful for now. So how are we going to do this? That's quite easy. That's quite easy. So we are going to implement an actual navigation from one component to a different one, which will be the equivalent of saying on Android, we are going from one activity to a different activity. Now, activities are like Android works basically on activities kind of things, which is basically almost like on the bundle of your app, it's a single instance that is running your on that instance of code. Now this sounds a bit weird because I'm trying to remember exactly the differences between an activity and rather than a fragment. A fragment would be almost like a view here, would be a piece of code that running on top of an activity, because for all intents and purposes, activities are basically single apps inside of that app of your Android. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me try to search for an actual concrete. What is an activity? Android, obviously, because otherwise it'll just show like physical activity. Okay, basically, okay. An activity represents a single screen with an user interface, just like a window or a frame of Java. Yep, basically, yep, that's what I said, simplified my smaller, thinner kind of words I was going for. No, this is just jargon. You don't need to care too much about this one. Basically, what he's saying is like, this is a single screen, and once you press to go to a different one, it's basically like he gets rid of that old one and he moves into the next one. Therefore, normally on Android, you have certain constraints of data. So data will not be as simple as just moving a variable to another place. I mean, it is simple if it is a variable and if it is of the like native type. So it will be our integers, our strings, those kind of single kind of measurable types of data that comes with the system. But if you want to put an object, that story is a bit different, because you need to do other things. Let's not go too deep into Android, because right now we're running on React Native. What you need to know is that it's way simpler. If we're going to do this on the good old JavaScript, it'll just be an object and it's fine. On Android, the native one, know that you need to do parcels. You basically need to wrap the whole data into a structure that could be movable from one screen to another one. Or if you want to, you need to save data in the file storage system. And basically, once you go to the next activity, you need to retrieve that data out. So normally, if you like to do a search or whatnot, you just pass it on an ID, which is way easier than actually passing on the whole structure, because then you need to parse the whole thing. Right, so after this brief lesson in history of how to do Androids, the good old ways, let's actually implement our new screen here. So let's do a new component called add goal. It's a single goal, so it's add goal, and we're going to do our usual template here. So it will be add goal dot component. If I can type it, tsx, and then we are going to do an add goal, that's component, dot screen, dot csx. And now to do our usual constant add goal screen is equal to something, and our function, and it will be export default add screen. And we can just put something. Matter, to be honest. Just the usual hello world, right? Okay. Yeah, I still can type it. There we go. And now it'll complain that this doesn't exist because this is not React component. I want a little one, and you can do it. Yep. And now React Native could be from paper. There we go. Add goals, goal screen. Oh, our usual. There we go. We can just sheet bit. Say, yeah. Here we components. Here would be our component as well. Component. Seriously, typing skills are just getting worse by proportion, like a inverse proportion of coffee. The more coffee I drink, the less I can type. Here would be screen. Unimport this. Oh, there we go. We have our component here. Now, to render this, we still need to navigate to this component. And to do that, we need to start by our main navigation file, which is on our app. So here, I need to add, and we need to do some slightly changes. So our navigation right now is constrained to the tab navigator. Once we do go back, we'll close our app. That will imply that whatever we have rendered on our screen right now, doesn't really matter if it is on this side or this side. If I do just back, it'll just go back to the previous stack, which is this one, and just leave. But that's not what we want. We need to now implement inside of the goals its own stack of navigation, so that once it does things, we can go back and forth inside of the goals components or between these components, rather than depending on the global navigation here. This will make sense. This will make sense in a second. So let me just adjust on the chair here. We need React navigation now. So let's go. React navigation. What is the one that we need? I think we just need a simple navigation. Moving between screens. There we go. And where is that stack? Where is that stack? Yep, we are going to do this in the future, but I just need to see where is that lovely Yep. Going back. It's passing parameters. Parameters. That's. I have no idea how that is pronounced right now. No, actually, we don't want this. We want stack navigation, which is the default one. So, what are we going to do? We have this one. We need to convert this into actually showing component that has the whole stack. It will be constant. It's very easy. It sounds a bit like scary, but it's not that. It's not hard. So it'll be like goals. Let's call this one I don't know, goals stack. Why not? At least I can come up with a good, decent name for this one right now. And this friend here will be handles the goals stack navigation. Perfect. Now, what will this do? It will be oh no, this first. So this one, which is this friend here, which is running this window, is getting data from our goal components. But what we are going to do is actually saying, take this one out, put this one here. Actually, you put this one there, but it will take a minute just actually this properly. And now we need to do this. Still missing. We still need to do right. You need to. We're going to have a screen on this navigation, and this screen will be named the component, which will be this one. And we need to specify always a name, which is the ID of navigation. So this one will be our home. It could be home because the main one will just show all the dashboard. Could be home. Now, something is missing, which is creation stack. Oh, this one. Yep. No, actually, it's this one. Where is it? Oh, there we go. I was missing this one. I was like, I'm fairly sure something is missing here. So we can call it stack, but instead we can just say, right, let's not call this stack. Let's call this one as, let's say, goals stack. There we go. And our goal stack will just define all the navigation stack of this little friend here. So now, just to see if this didn't crash. There we go. I think it's something to do with this friend. So let me remove. Still complain. That's fine. Add missing. Save it. Reloads. Okay. Cater. Okay. What's the problem? Property navigation. This one. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see what the problem might be. Capitalized, capitalized. So let me see if I just rename this a stack, just to see. Will you find it different? Nope. Right. So let me restart. Because sometimes the problems with this changing the stack is that it will require you to recompile things again. Why is that? No idea. To be honest, I would like it to be as magic as it normally is. Just put code there and it's working. Unfortunately, I would like to say that this is an exact science, but no, it's like you just toss a coin and that's basically what you get. And there's some weird things here. Okay, this is new. Variant valuation model is not very certain. No, no shit. Okay. Because the problem now is that things might be right, but that instance of Android might need to disappear. Happened before, but not on this level. So now we need to try. And also could be, I've seen this happen, since this is waiting for a component, kinda needs to be, no, it doesn't do anything. Okay, this is a new one. Obviously, things like this would need to happen while I'm doing streams, obviously. Okay, this is the thing I need to do. I think it's like old cache things. So to do that, I need to do, basically that's a command on Android to clean the whole cache. But to do that, I need to actually access the Android folder, which is this one. So cd Android. And now do, really? It's that powerful. Needs to have my sudo user. Basically, it's just doing a clean on the project. I have no idea why it requires sudo, but oh well. Oh no, it's just doing that. This is the thing I don't like. It's like, for a guy that's just learning React Native, just stumble upon these kind of things. Because these, I do suspect there's nothing wrong with this. I think this is just fine. But in between compilations, it's kind of like lost the way of tracking and just stuck with the old build. So just, oh, damn, I'm quite bright. Might be the webcam. Because with the webcam, we also have this kind of properties like magic ones. No, actually. It might be really the sun, which is quite bright. Sorry, guys. Yeah. And, well, there we go. It's finished. And now... This. Let's see if it works. It doesn't seem to work. At least this one should have gone away. Navigation stacks. Yep. Go. Oh, wait. Wait. What the hell is this? Oh. Little bastard created a function without me noticing. Because I tried to import this and I probably said, yep, add missing function declaration to stack. So what it did was not to add it to the top, but rather created a function. My bad. Now, this kind of begs the question, why is it not? Oh, I know why. So, the way that React navigation is implemented is that it will not provide you with everything by default. Basically, this means that if we want to use the stack navigation, we need to actually install it. It will be this one. So for every type of navigation that we need to install it rather than being by default there. And therefore, it makes it a bit smaller when you're trying to compile everything and whatnot, or just release it. Okay, now it's installed. Now I can say import. Now no one is complaining. Now I do save, reload, reload. Now I need to reload. And no. Relaunch. The joys of React Native. Just another day. Right. And this is just like the stepping stones. It's not the actual meat of things. There we go. Now it's working. Now, as you can see, because we had the stack navigation, by default, you'll add the navigation bar on top. Now, do we need a navigation bar? I'm kind of an opinion that if the screen just has like the dashboard, it's not the dashboard, but like the home kind of feel, maybe it doesn't need navigation, although we can just leave it there. Because we also went with the colors, the default colors for the React navigation paper, rather than the ones from the React Native paper, rather than React navigation. By default, the top bar will be themed by the default theme, which on this case will be the light theme. I believe it is the light theme. The default one is the light theme. But if you want it to be dark, I think we need to do default dark theme. I think that's the default dark theme. Well, there was a default dark theme, as far as I recall. But dark theme. Okay. Let me see if it can change. Quick fix, because I couldn't read it. Yep, native paper. And now here would be dark theme.colors. I save it. Now everything is dark, as you can see. Or you can see, there's, depending on your contrast, everything here. But it's quite hard to read it now. Because colors would need to be adjusted to this one. Oh, which is fine. Actually, text should be, no, text is darker because of, yep, we do this. There we go. Now it shows. But then we need to adjust the bottom navigation bar, which by default apparently does not obey to the theme, but rather you'll just go and do its own thing. Or it could be one of the colors that here. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Should we go light theme or should we go dark theme? Obviously we need to change the default colors here, but that's fine. That might be a nice thing to implement in the future. Right now, let's just go with the default one. And Alex then can do a voting if we want to go light or dark. Ooh, very Star Warsy. The light force, a little dark force. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, I feel like I should be napping instead of being in control of this whole project right now in front of all of you. And that's fine. Now we have navigation working ready, and we can hide this window. Let me show you how it's done. We don't know. Sorry, the navigation, the default one. We don't need that part. We also don't need files. And we can say here options. There we go. On options, we are going to have what? Option needs to be double quotes. React. Silly question is, as in a room full of devs, dark team. I know, right? I know. I haven't yet. I mean, kind of depends. I think I know people. There's like two types of people. People that care, people that don't care. Normally people that care is like, obviously it's dark mode. And I know those kind of people that basically, they're like, oh, it's fine by default. And you see like the default wallpaper, and you see even like the the monitors, like the peeler kind of tape around it, and you're like, how can there be people in the world that does not care about those kind of things. I don't get it. I respect that, but I don't get it. Right, so what we want to do is React navigation. How to hide the top bar? How's it referencing? It should be navigation bar. Not this one. This is the old way. Oh, there we go. This one. Navigation options and header show as false, because in the old times on React Navigation 4 it was like this. Now it's a bit different, but now we need to find these navigation options. So it's not just options that we need navigation options. No, it should be here. Let me see if I can find it, because it makes sense going by screen and not actually by. I wonder. Where did this? Okay. So what was the option? Header shown. We do have options here. We do have. Okay. Might not be. Here, Gonzalo. Hello. How are you doing? Did you finish work already? Ah, there you go. Where is it? Where is the height? Where is that height option? What am I missing? Change navigation structure. Yeah, but this is what we did for the tab screen. It's basically this one. But this is not what we were looking for. This is what we're looking for. I mean, this should take like 5 minutes. Oh, sorry, less than 5 minutes looking for. But sometimes it'll be like the smallest things that will take more time than anything else. This one was 18, which is still the old kind of way, but let me see if I can do this. Navigation options, does it should exist here. Should be like this. Let me try to just say, right, you're saying it doesn't exist, but what if? What if I do something in the lines of, no, this is really old, this shouldn't, yep. Show up. Options, header shown, false. No, it should be like this now. Okay. We've ditched the old null thing a while ago. Should be just, and now it's showing header shown. I could have sworn I searched for this. Okay, lesson of the day is that just type everything till the end and just see it afterwards, I guess. But this is the way to actually now hide. Obviously, if you just put through, it'll just show. But then that's the default behavior. Right now, we're going to hide. So it will be false. That's fine. And now, most important thing we were deterred to do is to actually add another screen here, which will be our add goal. Which will be our add goal screen. No, component. Why does it say screen? Idea. Here we go. And here, I'm gonna remove this because we are going to show our components with the navigation bar. We kind of need to. Now, this is the name that we need to keep track of, because this one will reference our navigation. So, what are we going to do? We can just move this friend this side so we can be remembered what is the name just in a second. And we are going to say, right, when you press this button, instead of actually, just doing the console log, we are actually going to navigate into this screen. So to do that, we are going to this screen, going to here, and we are going to say, instead of doing this, we are going back into our logic and we're going to navigate into the new screen. That's because it needs to be done on this screen rather than on the view, because we need an object called navigation, which is basically the state that is injected on every single component of the stacks that we've defined it here. I know that's a mouthful, but just bear with me for a second. Basically, on every single screen of this, it injected this is the navigation and is the render root object. The root one will be for extracting data from navigation, which we're going to need to just when we move items around. And the navigation would be to actually produce like navigation kind of actions, such as going back or going to a specific screen, which is what we're going to do. Now, because there's a lot of screens here, let me just simplify things. We need to go, first of all, to the screen. And on the screen, we're going to say, right, we want to actually communicate back from our screen into our component. So it'll be props dot, and we're going to call this method on fab click press. We press. We're not passing out any sort of data. That's fine. Now, this to work, we need to have props, which we actually had props here before, so it needs to be what's it called? Fab press. This will be what? It will be a function that will not return anything. This way. There we go. The connection now is done upstream, basically. And goes through here, and now we save it. And on this side, we'll complain. This one, basically, we are missing one implementation, which is on fab press. Here we're going to extract. There's no information that click, and this will do what? It will be handle fab press, for instance, could be like this. And on this implementation, we're going to decide what to do. So let me just collapse this dummy data for now and be handles. Constant. This one. We'll do what? It'll be navigation, which is this object. Dot navigate. Should autocomplete, but okay. And now it requires one parameter, which is a string, which is what? It's name. We define it on our app. So we need this add goal exactly as it is. We can just put an enum for this. There's also on TypeScript objects we need to define in order for this navigation to be properly implemented. Because on JavaScript, this will be fine, but on TypeScript, you need to define a type. And to define a type, we need to have some sort of a structure that maps both components and stacks. But that's something we can do in a later stream. Right now, I'm just concerned about the actual meat of things. So right now, if I just do this, save, it should be working. Let's try it. There we go. It has a nice animation. And now this is the second screen. As you can see, the stack automatically implements navigation. If we go back, it knows that this is the root file. Now it's not showing the home bar here, but the home bar didn't have any go back. Well, once I go into this navigation, you can see automatically adds the Android go back feature. If I go back to this one, it's fine. If I come back, the navigation still is the same here. That's why we need stack navigations and not the kind of navigations that unfortunately React Native doesn't come by default. But we need to import some sort of thing that handles these stacks kind of navigations of mobile apps, because otherwise it would be a pure anarchy. It's quite handy, well, as we're going to see just in a minute. But right now, we have our screen here. So let me do a quick commit. And say, let's confirm that we're going to commit everything as we should. Yes. Yeah. Our goal here as the floating action button. Horizontal logic, navigation there. And for now, we're going to do the cardinal sin. Wait, why are you complaining? Any is declared, but his file is never read. What? Right. I know why. This is not just an ordinary kind of be like this. That's really weird. Or I'm overthinking. It needs to be like this. There we go. I know it was like a weird kind of format. I know this one needs to be inside brackets. This needs to be outside. To be honest, why? I have no idea. That's one of those things that once I discovered, I just use it and I didn't concern too much. But we'll just have, or probably have just a stream just dedicated to the navigation properties and how to solve this issue without putting any. Because there's a whole chapter on the React navigation here somewhere regarding TypeScript and navigations and how to do it properly and whatnot. But that's the whole stream on itself that we're going to focus on in the future or not right now. So I can just do a quick cleanup. Not to have much things here. We are this one. We are also adding our default component here. So it will be 4. And we are going to say add navigation. Add goal component. Sometimes I'll just type too much. It'll show us warning saying, well, that's a really long sentence. And I'm like, I don't care. As long as the information is there. As long as people can understand what I'm doing there, that's fine. Not implementing. There we go. There we go. So navigate to goal components. We've done that. Show a form to add goal. Okay. We are going to do fun things now. Finally. I mean, we are 1 hour and a half in. But I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can. And once we've done this, we can call it a day. And hopefully I don't try to demonstrate something at the end of the stream that I might regret and add half an hour worth of stream. Right, so now we have our navigation working, which is perfect. Let me try to then do the fun part that every single developer loves, which is to do a form, right? I mean, who doesn't like forms? Do a try. Now, are we going to do this by scratch? Obviously, we are not. We are software developers. We know better. We know that we have something pre-built for us. If paper. And we also know that if the client wants something more custom, he needs to pay for it. So we want exactly, where is it? In text input. There it is, which implements automatically the nice floating kind of thing once you click on it, and we can do it on 2 different styles. I personally prefer this one, although outline input doesn't look too bad, to be honest. Let's go with I don't know, could be outline. Outline is not that bad, and we'll blend in with the background. So we need some small components to do this. We need to have a state, which this one actually uses these hooks right now, which is perfect because I do prefer hooks than actually the old kind of way of doing things. And we need obviously a name for it, a value. Oh, what the hell? Oh, right. I scared myself with the call right now, just to keep the stream interesting. On our onChange text here, that's the magic. We need to say when things change on this value, it needs to store that value on the state, and then that state will populate the value here. So you can see it's a bit of a cycle that we need to be careful. So to do that, we just need to do this, and put this one here instead of our text. And this one should save, but okay. Yeah, I can save better. And now we need to have. Now I don't know. Jesus, I know. I need to have. This is why I don't like to schedule things for streams. Or in between streams, is that some people might try to actually impose their agenda on you. Right, so we need a state here, and normally I have no idea if we should have the state, because it's like regarding the screen, the state inside of the screen, or rather we should delegate that with props to change things. But for now, we're going to say, right, we are going to have some text. I mean, it could be, I don't know, full text. Doesn't really matter. And there we go. And it does automatically. And it shows the keyboards. Now, because this is Android and not just web development, they are predefined keyboards that we can place for our input fields. Such as if we had the passwords, we can have this one to obfuscate the input. We can also say, right, we actually want just a numeric keyboards. We can do that, or even if you start typing, as you can see, there's a capitalized letter, and then is the normalized letters. But we can change it just to be standard kind of lowercase letters. So there's plenty we can customize, but we're not going to dive too much into it right now. We are going to do is put this one a bit better. So if we do view, if we copy it, and now because I'm too lazy, just remember how to do this. I'm going to copy styles, put it here, and let's call it container, which is additional name that I call every single main component. Save it, import this, because obviously we're going to complain about this. Can't find variable view. My bad. There we go. Now I'm going to say, else dot container. Right, now we need just to do simple kind of formatting. We are going to say, this has a margin of 10. There we go. There's our margin. Let's do things different. Let's do horizontal margin of 20, but vertical margins 10. There we go. Because we don't really need to glue it too much on the top. And also, if we need to, if there's too many fields or something that if you type, you'll just obfuscate here, we could just say, right, we're just going to put this view, instead of being just a regular view, it will be a scroll view. And therefore, if you need to, you just could scroll it on this windows. Because again, this is not web. Therefore, we need to do all those kind of things, not done by us, or it is not provided automatically for us. Just because kind of looks like sometimes that the margins are not correct. Kind of sucker just to have it just perfectly. These colors could be also customizable. By default, we'll go for the default primary color. We can just change the background, the default text, the hint text. One doesn't need to do that. So this is the label. So okay, we have our form now. Let's say that what we want for the goal. Let's say goal name. Okay. For now, let's just say that we're going to do a simple list, right? We just want to list set of goals that we say. So let's change this one from text to actual be goal. And here our set function will be called setGoal. It will use React state, which, come on, we are adults here. We can just import it directly. And by default, this value will be an empty string. Perfect by me. I mean, if you want to, I think we could do it like this, string. But it's okay. Right, so we have a text, perfect. And now we need the one next thing, which is we need the button, right? Because after we just set our goal, whatever that is, we need to be able to say, right, I think this is okay. Let me add it. So we just need to search for the button. Button. And we are going with a fillet button. I guess this one would not be. I mean, it will be kind of the. Oh, right. We wanted to go with a different style. We wanted to go with the outline. Search for outline is on type. So let me just quickly. I'll put here on top. Be really. Okay, that's weird. Does it need to be like this? Okay. I think it's because. Okay, that's weird. Just label value. Sworn. It's modes. Okay. Thank you. Right. Thank God I have a more responsible people looking at my code than myself. Because you are correct. There we go. What did I? Oh, right. Because I was typing the button. There we go. Now, just do this. Okay. Goal will just go down. You'll go here. Nice. Looks alright. I like it. No, we need that button. That button now can be outlined as well, just to keep up with the team. Or it might be too confused. Well, we'll see it. So let me copy the whole template here. Thank you, Hamza. I hope I've pronounced your name as well correctly. I mean, coming from a guy that is not native to this lands, people here kind of say my name the correct way, which is weird because back home, my name is unusual even for my own country, which is weird. People normally just have the wrong idea for my name. It's in mode as well, so let's see how that will look. We also need to do one thing, which is internal padding needs to be. Do I need to put? Maybe if I do one thing, which is flex one. And now flex direction is column. Come on. And now I need to say, I never know this by heart. It's like flex content line items. And then the alignment of items should be, not the alignment, justify content. This one will be a space around. Because there's one. Now, this is the correct idea. Because I want them to have a space between, but not like this. But actually, what I can do is a different thing. No. Space around. Space between. There was one just to put. There we go. Perfect. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do like this. We can have it like 2 views, and then you decide 1 view to the bottom and the below, or to the top. I mean, we just done that. Just this. And it looks quite alright. And this actually goes because the view it's quite nicely fits this one. And the button is here. Now what I need to do is icon could be React. What was it? Material. Yeah, the icons. Material design. There we go. Text field can be multi-line. It can, but I don't think that's something that you want to do. Now, I do see what you mean, because the goal can be not just, you know, going to the gym. It could be a guy saying, going to the gym to lose weight and at the same time gaining more mass and fame and fortune, and basically just typing and never stops. Maybe we need to do something in the lines of adding a name and then a description. What we'll do is, first of all, we'll just submit as it is, and then we might just iterate in terms of adding more features, such as adding that. What I want to add is actually different icons to it, so you can define like almost like a category. Oh, really? Your video is gone. Say, let me just confirm that. Oh, right. Yep. Sun is quite tricky. I'll just try to keep it here. Just blocking the sun for you guys. So let me see. Send. Now you wait because this takes a minute. There we go. And I want this one. Oh, actually, who would say that send is sent, right? Send. Now we change icon from camera to send. There we go. And instead of press me, will be add goal, which automatically will capitalize all the words. And we can get this one back. So let's do something like this. Here, we're going to say in interface. I almost forgot what this was, what the name of the thing was. And now he's saying on button submit press. Be a function void. And we're going to say, right, we are going to implement props, type props. Are we going to say on when this happens, we're going to do props dot function. And actually, we forgot something. Now, we need to press of a button. We need to get our goal here, here, and here we need to say goal of type what? Type string. Here we go. And now back to our component. And on our my component here, I need to implement the actual. Come on. I mean, you could have just. It knows the problem, but will not do for me automatically for some reason. So here I'll just receive our goal, which has a type string right now. And I'm going to say null goal. On results. And now the thing that you guys might be thinking is that I didn't do any sort of checks, which is true. Normally, and that's why I was asking, right, I did implement this here. Normally, what I would suggest is that all the data comes from the UI into the component, and then we have a function here saying, right, if this component, if text is not, say, all the ones filled in, what you do is simply... Damn it. Really? No. God damn it. I mean, I'm trying to finish here. So where I was going before I was distracted for a minute. Usually, you'd have something saying disable on the button so that you could not press it all the time. Obviously, now it's complaining, but you know. So here we have all the logic to do that. And obviously, we don't like functions, we like arrow function, which is way more posh. Constant, add on results, new triangle, here. Oops, forgot to not have that one. And okay, slide now. Right, so here, let me say, so we have two things we can do now. One thing is to save the actual datum. And the second thing is to actually return data. Now, I would vote for, once you've done this, we just wait a bit while this thing kind of writes into the background of the app. Sorry, what I meant to say was, while this takes the data and stores it into the bundle that Android provides us. And basically, damn it, son. And basically do not return anything. And once we return, we just say, right, just retrieve all the data again, and basically refreshes. But I don't want to start to do that right now because we are 2 hours in, and 2 hours already. Oh damn, time flies by. And I want to just drag this too long. So what we're going to do is, actually, we're going to go bypass. We're going to return data, and we are going to show that data inside our lists, just to clear out for today. So now, if we just do add goal, it will not do anything because we'll get here with our goal. I basically do not. So how do we return data? Right? So let me go to... I actually wanted to put the online button, don't I? So it should be the same thing. Modes. Just before we go. It will be the same thing. Actually, I can copy just this. Oh, right. That's a problem. I'm not a fan of it. It has a nice animation to it. Doesn't look alright. Yeah, it does look better. Could be like this. Or we actually can change the color to be the teal one instead of the main one. But that's fine. Just here, type something, add goal. You can even put the keyboards once it does the enter to actually trigger this. We'll do that in a future episode, not right now. So getting back to our train thought here. Close this. React navigation. Navigation. Most important documentation of that all. Moving between screens. No, actually no. Passing parameters. Roads. So we want to do navigation.push. That's new. No, it's just doing... Okay, I see it. Oh, I see it. Doesn't really need to do this, does it? Normally, you just need to do this. Oh, right, this is the detail. No, it makes sense now. So what we're going to do is saying, basically, the same thing, although it sounds a bit weird, I know. Basically, what we're going to do is saying navigation.navigate into the main screen there, the home screen. So basically, it's saying that it's going to navigate back. There's an actual navigation.go back, but we are going to do this by hand because it's the way to do it, not really we are trying to come up with different schemes here. And we add an optional object with whatever you want inside. So we are going to do navigation. I forgot that I need to have navigation. Type any. Navigation. Again, any just so that you won't complain, but we need to address that in the future. So it'll be navigation. Navigate. And I'm going to say, what is that name? Totally forgot what we decided. Oh, kind of makes sense. And we are going to return with some parameters. So it'll be cool. We'll have, well, let's say goal. Right, and then once you go back, which we can confirm now. There we go. Got back. And if you go back, say it doesn't go back into the previous screen because the stack basically just take that off and we are on the main screen here. Now we also can actually type into once it does click here on going back on Android and operate according to this click. Like say that we want to actually ask users if they really want to exit, which is quite useful, especially if we have this kind of multi-tier kind of navigation. Something to consider in the future. But right now, we're just typing things away, submitting, and we are actually going back to this screen with actual data. Now we need to show it. So let's just do the final piece. Actually, let me just submit first. Amazon. I mean, I don't want to put my blind because apparently the sun will start warping the cardboard. And basically that's the problem. That's why it just fell down. This is like, I don't know, second world kind of problems, I guess. So this one, I just put this, I don't know, add form to add goals. Right, just, you know, submit it just in case my laptop just burns in between. Now, I just need to retrieve that data. To retrieve data, I just need to do, what is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. This one. So this is why we need root. So I need to, no, I need to put a blind because I can't see most of the screen now. So give me a second. Doing the most ghetto kind of thing. There we go. Much better. I know it's a bit MacGyver-y kind of thing, but oh, it's way better now. Jesus. So now all I want to do is sort of once it goes back into the screen, once it gets this focus, just once check if the data, if it has some data that return, and if it does, operate upon it. So what we're going to do is our goals. Actually, it needs to be on the components because it will be the first one to load. And to do one thing, once it focus, I need to do some hooks. It will be use focus effect. Yep, that's the one. So it needs to do something. And it'll be check data, for instance. That'll be something like this. And now it needs to be a component. Let's see. It'll be like constant function Here it'll be checks for oh, Alexa. Alexa's complaining that I have some reminders right now. Let's see. Checks for submitting data, returning data. Kind of sounds a bit weird. Let's call this one, I don't know. Sounds weird, I know, but okay. What's the problem? Complaining about this. What? Hell? That's weird. I think it's first of all, I think this is the way to do this. Might be wrong. No one said anything on chat, so that's a good thing. That's one. That's a sign that I'm not doing anything wrong. Yep. I forgot about doing the use callback because the use callback needs to be called once, and not really like every 5 minutes or something. So this will do something, and this will require some parameters if it needs to. And the thing it needs to do is actually this one. And this will be here, and this will be removed. Doesn't need to have. No, it does need to have. Damn it. This one be like this. Whew. Import this. Remove thing. Why is it getting this weird? I mean, am I not doing this correctly? I'm not doing this correctly. Damn it! I forgot I need to do an arrow function. Oh god, I mean, am I that tired today? So focus. So it's fine. Okay. Of this. Right. Confirm. They need this. Okay. That's the right combination of ingredients to do this. Confirm, because I don't want to say like, yep. There's a lot of things. Just I close my chat and open again. There's a lot of people. Video perfect now. Yep. That's the engineering kind of good side of things, I guess. At least so far. Let me just hope that that thing doesn't come down. But right now, is once it focus, it does one call. Call this one once. It needs to be called once. Right. So it needs to be here. So let me try to actually console log prove that this works, right? Debug. Hello. Because I'm kind of fairly new also to React hooks. That's something I know how to actually does do one goal, but that doesn't mean that I kind of know exactly to the detail what I'm doing. But it seems to be working fine. So once it focus, so if I just, well, I didn't close it, but let's say that I'm closing this. No, actually, it is working. Focusing on the screen, does it once. Every time it focus, does yellow. If I go to a different screen, and I don't know, type something. Yes, focus. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to do. This will be the equivalent on Android to doing on start, I believe so. I mean, there's a lot of different life cycle segments to the activity. It could be you can trigger something on stop, on pause, on resume. There's a whole world of things that you can do basically on those triggers. And iOS, I believe, is the same kind of thing. But for now, what we want to say is that once the screen is focused, basically once it comes back and is showing, rendering, do a callback once to check for returning data. So what will this do, basically? Whew, that's a lot of things. Let's say that we want to check if, first of all, we need to implement this route. Right? And we're going to say that this one will just come here as, I forgot what it was. Goal. So goal, and removing the other one. If hello, can you guys hear me? I just looked down and I saw that my live stream just dropped for some reason. I mean, that's a lot of things going wrong on one stream. Jesus. Everyone can see me fine, right? Yep. I have no idea what's going on. But I'm almost finished. So, you know, we can all go and relax a bit. Yeah, it dropped a bit just because, I don't know, just OBS, but this time was OBS. Basically, I had a notification saying, OBS dropped, is reconnecting. And I'm like, just by the end of the stream. I mean, I'm almost there. So let's say, if we have something defined here, I mean, a string can be null, right? So, yeah. Can I say string? If goal. Do I need to put it as an object? I can just say. Oh, I know. Like this. Then we'll put goal. There we go. Or, better yet, why am I doing this? Then, what I can say is that add, we can say set data. And what do we have as data? Something in these lines. What is this? Parenthesis. Oh, right, from this one. What is this? Object ID string is not assignable to parameter set action ID string. Right, because it doesn't accept, it just accepts as actual array. Yeah. Really? Doesn't No, stream now is at 60 FPS. It should be fine now. Amza. I have no idea. To be honest, I mean, I restarted OBS, so I don't know. I mean, it looks good enough for me. Yeah, that's really weird. It might be that once it dropped, basically YouTube said, well, I can save some bandwidth with this sucker, and basically just put it down. So now, let me try to just finish on, because we are almost there. Now, what I wanted to do was, actually, I can do this, right? Now it comes that. Now it comes that funny part. I want to add things to an already. Oh, is it was like this? No, that data would be. Let me try to do by. I think it's like this. Oh, damn. No, 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 no. Just finish. Do not do that. I know what you're doing. Damn it. Because the problem now is that since we have a state now changing, he's like, oh, there's a state changing, there's a state changing, there's a state changing. And he basically goes there over and over. Now, I want to just do this once and once and nothing more. So, if... Oh, I know. All of this here, and it's like use, call back. I know, it really is a pain, and I have it down almost to perfection. Because the pain was so great that I either just put it this working or just give up altogether. So in theory, if I do this, it just runs once. Hopefully I had this correctly figured out. But it took a while. It took a while to understand, like, oh right, I'm going to use hooks for everything. It's like the new thing is so good. And then it's like, everything is bleeding. I have no idea how to stop this. I just want to, just update this variable or this state. And it's like just bleeding updates everywhere. And it's like, that's not what I want. So I just saved now. So it seems to be fine. So basically what I'm doing is on our state of data, I'm just adding one new value. I'm saying ID1, but let's say. Problem now is that this is text. And to add one more, like I can do. Let me try. Let me try to do one thing. Data dot length dot is like 2 1. It's kind of weird math here. Do string. To string is inside of it? No, can be. No, it's right. Okay, this is just an optional. Okay. I was like, that's really weird. Okay, so this. Everything goes right. This should work perfectly. And what I'm going to say is that this one has just one. Or actually, it doesn't have anything. What would happen if this is empty? Okay, perfectly working. Normally what I would do is if this is just empty, I've never. I can do this. Yep. Okay. Okay. What if it's just, Oh, I see why. Because if the type is not assigned, then basically it's just inferring the type from here. So what needs to be done is this is an array of type. What is the type? Type is any. Really? Okay, didn't crash. Because now, if I need to, I just need to, go here. Normally what we do is, if there's no data, we'll show a render view here saying there's no data. Otherwise, show the data. But right now, it's empty. There's no data. If I come here, go and add. Let go. And it should have shown something. Let's see what it's not doing. It might be that I need to specify these friends here, which I'm probably not doing. Oh, there we go. No, actually, something is wrong. I mean, the idea is there. The execution is just terrible. Let me try it again. Huh. Okay. So let me just confirm something. Also.log. We are going to do what I normally call probing, which is usually just taking out a set of debug markers around. And it should be good enough. Now if I just restart. Basically there's nothing inside here. And now if I just continue. Add. It says that there's nothing inside this root parameter. That's weird. Goal, right. And put it here. And let's see. There's goal. Cool. Yep. That's really weird. But then, if we update it, oh, now it exists. Now it exists. Oh, that's really weird. Oh god, it's almost like. Let's wrap it up. Let's try to do this as quick as we can. So basically, what we can do is that now we can basically. Can we delete this? Probably can. Link scope. Right. This doesn't look alright. Let me try to see. React native. Oh. Clear. What's it called? Root. No idea what these two do. This is why. I mean, we're having all these problems, but we don't need to do anything else, to be honest. And the reason why is that this was just to show that we could get data back into the screen. But actually, what we're going to do is not doing this way, but actually, what we're going to do in the future is we're going to save the data. I'm going to leave that to next stream because it takes a while to set up everything. But basically, what it's going to do is it's going to get that data out of the add goal screen, and it will actually just store it. And once it goes back, once it's submitted, basically what it's going to do is getting that data back from the storage and actually show it. So this loop here will never happen because we're going to change it that way. Because right now, I mean, yeah, that's an interesting problem. Now we come back, always there's on this goal. Obviously, we cannot add data permanently like this, because otherwise, like, oh, there's new data. Oh, there's new data. And basically, this list will keep growing and growing. And actually, let me see if I just do example 2, and if it does like add 2 parameters now. Does it do that? No. Oh, and now it stopped. Not adding anything else. That's weird. But still, I mean, main functionality is here. The goal now would be the next stream. Now that we've done a lot of small tweaks, next stream will be actually change the functionality of adding goal to store that data internally on the app. We're going to see how to do that, not manually, but we are going to use one library called, was it like React Native, obviously, the sync storage. And this train here will handle both Android and iOS versions. And it will use, instead of, actually, no, this is the one, because there's 2 versions. Yep, that was the correct one. This one is the one deprecated. the way that it's going to use is that it implements both natively Android and iOS shared preferences to store things. No, actually, that's a lie. It uses a bit of SQLite for Androids, and for iOS, I think they use its own way, not actual SQLite. But basically, what it does is that there's a space on the bundles of the apps that basically you can store it securely, data there. More on iOS side. On Android, there's a problem, as it is on iOS, which is if your device is rooted, basically people could tamper with that data. But basically, that's the extension of how insecure using this that is. That, well, unless you are one with an actual Android version, stock version, it's fine. Otherwise, you need to implement some sort of measures, such as having data kind of encrypted somewhat, which there's an, I think it's, what's it called? Yeah, native key signing. Yep, there's this way that you can encrypt a lot of things basically on Androids if you need to, but 99% of cases you can use the React async storage, and it's just perfectly safe and fine to use, which is kind of the other point. Normally we don't need to use any sorts of SQLite unless it's a more complex app, if you need some sort of small queries and whatnot, but usually you need to store just simple things, such as, for instance, tokens for user tokens for communication with servers, or some sort of user profile that you need to store. You don't want to always query the server, because most of the times, obviously, you don't want to store the whole feed of things into the app, because then on the app almost turns into a sort of server in itself. And you usually want to keep your mobile apps as, I'm going to say, as slim, in the sense of the less communication you do, the better. The less computation you do, the better. The less you have to store, the better. Basically, less is more on the mobile side, especially when you start consider that for every action on the server, if the user uses data, it consumes data, obviously. It consumes battery. If it's right on the background, obviously it consumes even more battery, which is one of the main issues with having apps that has background functionalities. So yeah, that's a plenty of problems that we're going to just, concerning the problems right now. We will worry about that in the future. But right now, sync storage for next stream, saving our actual goals there, retrieving those goals, having a sort of permanent storage will be better than actually just, restarting and all this. And yeah, that will be most of the work, because then we can just modify our goals. We can have the descriptions, we can add it on the bottom, and we obviously can add more to it. We can then in the future, and we spoke with Alex about that, probably having some sort of backend to it, which will make it more interesting, obviously, because then if we format our phones, we still have our data stored in a server, and we can actually see Android and React Native using Fetch, and we see how to do a basic authentication, which is fairly simple, but still, again, the problem with this kind of apps is not that it's not simple, is that there's a lot of small steps, and then we can do the holy grail of problems on mobile development, which is handling connections, which involves the good way, which is, well, everything works at first, or involves the bad way, which is there's no connection, the internet dropped, or it says that it has internet on, or basically it says it has Wi-Fi but doesn't have internet connection. So there's a whole range of problems that we need to face with doing this, which will be an interesting stream. Not right now, but yeah. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Like this video, don't forget about it, because it doesn't help me, although I'll feel obviously quite proud, but it helps Nordev, obviously. Those guys do a quite marvelous job for the community, as I've never seen, and I've been on a couple of communities before. Please like, subscribe if you like it. Tell your friends if you find it is interesting. I'll try to keep this as brief as I can, but obviously there's this nice, this nice shiny sidetrack things that I always tend to go to. Obviously Android and iOS, it's kind of complex, and I try to keep it as brief as I can. But there's this always nice caveats, which is slightly different from normal software development kind of protocols that we go with you front end or back end. So thank you so much, guys. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Now I'm going to rest a bit and taking a bit of hopefully sunshine outside. Obviously I can see it, but it's almost down. So yeah, you guys around, and I'll see you next one. And you can close it now, Alex.